as you can see on the screen, there is a scandal that we must talk about, and it is Kawhi Leonard and Steve Ballmer. Breaking news that Kawhi Leonard has allegedly signed a $28 million no-show job endorsement deal with a fraudulent tree planting company, secretly funded by $50 million from Clippers owner Steve Ballmer. I am about to play this video because it's going to tell you guys so much more about the situation than I even know. I'm going to play a couple minutes of it. Y'all lock in. Listen to what my man Pablo is saying, because he is the one, Pablo Torre. He is the one who broke the story and broke the news. So here we go, y'all. Listen up.
What we know is that NBA executives were suspicious of how Steve Ballmer's Clippers landed the most valuable free agent on the market, Kawhi Leonard. That the NBA did not find that Ballmer got Kawhi by sweetening their offer. But also that in March 2025, this celebrity-endorsed, multi-billion-dollar, allegedly fraudulent tree brokerage named Aspiration, which promises to clear your conscience and your emissions, they filed for bankruptcy. And this is where the clue is. What David's looking at with his glasses on is a bankruptcy filing, and there's a list of creditors. The entities to which Aspiration, in all of their alleged fraudulence, still owes the most money. And what I noticed is what David is noticing right now, which is that on that list of creditors, up near the top, above the Boston Red Sox, is an LLC, a tiny little company that Aspiration owes $7 million. And that LLC's name, David, is what?
KL2 Aspire LLC.
And what does it list there under manager or member name?
Kawhi Leonard.
Whose NBA jersey number, just to connect all of the dots here, happens to be what?
Number 2.
So then the question is, the Aspire part of KL2 Aspire LLC, right? Because, okay, he's getting all this money, millions of dollars. What I started doing was scour the internet for any mentions of Aspiration. Any appearances, tweets, quotes, Instagram posts, anything by Kawhi Leonard endorsing Aspiration. And this was hard to find, which also might seem weird, right? Because every other celebrity Aspiration gave money to was well known. There was Drake offering a statement to Rolling Stone. There was Doc Rivers, Kawhi's own head coach. Robert Downey Jr. was cutting his commercial. That was the whole point of paying the A-list Avengers. But the grand total number of times that I found Kawhi Leonard ever publicly referencing Aspiration, 0 times.
Right.
Kawhi Leonard mentioned Aspiration. And so what I started doing...
All right, fellas. I need thoughts, comments, and reactions to what is going on in Clipper land right now.
They literally stole.
Okay, so you want
100%, man. That's where I was going.
Well, real quick though, let me ask you a question, Ron. First of all, this is such elementary detective work. Okay, the social media isn't life. Social media isn't everything. You know, just because everybody else maybe had to post it on social media doesn't mean Kawhi Leonard had to. Maybe they use Kawhi Leonard as a way to get other people on board just by flashing his name. And you know what? Even furthermore, even if they didn't, mind your goddamn business. Let them pay Kawhi how they want to. That's how they do it in LA.
It's ridiculous.
That's the whole point of going to LA, because we can pay you with endorsements. You just be a figurehead. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of this.
That's not
that
an
money,
endorsement. That's tampering. What are you?
Get that money,
what are we on here?
He wasn't staying in Toronto no matter what. Get that money, why? Get that money, baby.
Excuse me.
He wasn't staying in Toronto.
Once again, the louder you talk doesn't make your takes correct. Knowing a thing or two about this would help. You know, knowing a thing or two might help.
It's the chat. Me and the chat.
Hold up, though. Let Penn and Chill go. What you got, Penn?
So first of all, Ox, when you are a businessman, one thing you don't do is you don't leave money on the table not to get that money back somewhere else on some level. Okay, so Kawhi Leonard is leaving Toronto, and he's leaving $40 million on the table. He ain't leaving $40 million on the table just to go home. That's not happening. No, because he could have went home a long time ago, right? It didn't just happen in 2019. Well, I was going to say coach, I'm sorry. Steve Ballmer comes in, and he sweetens the deal. 100%. We're gonna make this deal. We're gonna make this work for you, and we're gonna make sure that you get this money back. So 100% they did that, and they're doing that all over the NBA. That's all going on. It just so happens that we just found out about it with Kawhi Leonard.
Chill, but it's not Kawhi who should be on the investigation. If you want to investigate somebody, investigate Steve Ballmer.
Okay, first
Kawhi
of
ain't doing nothing wrong.
Uncle Dennis, who is Kawhi's representative in a lot of these negotiations, attempted to extort. Man, my legs be tired of all the Euro stepping I have to do, yo. Come on, can we let it?
I'm listening
to you. Go ahead, Pig. Go ahead.
Here's the thing. Uncle Dennis went to Toronto, went to the Lakers, went to the Clippers, and they tried to extract the best offer possible. And because of the confines of the NBA and the CBA, there's a limit to how much you can actually pay these players, and that is meant to create parity of opportunity. So when you have a team run by a psychopathic billionaire like a Steve Ballmer, who is willing to win at all costs and sign guys, whatever it takes, ship out Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Yeah, how'd that work out? No championships, huh? Okay. So what I'm saying is when you're willing to skirt the rules, when you're willing to bend the rules, you're not playing fair. And obviously, Steve Ballmer comes from a world of Microsoft where they don't really play fair. Let's just be real. There's no rules and regulations. But when you use that mentality, it's just like Shaq trying to, tell Rudy Gobert how to get his ass in the post. When you're Steve Ballmer and you come from the world of Microsoft and high tech and, those worlds where they're just crushing startups left, right, and center, when you use that same mentality in the NBA, it doesn't work because there are rules in the NBA to prevent exactly the situation from happening. Now, there's the reason that this is tampering, number one, is because the Clippers courted him all year long. That's first and foremost. Lawrence Frank was there at the Raptor games, just kind of like letting Kawhi know, like, hey, how you doing? Kawhi's like, don't you run the fucking Clippers? Steve Ballmer's been on record saying they didn't care what it took to get Kawhi away. They knew he wanted to go to LA. They didn't want to lose him to the Lakers. And so Uncle Dennis went to the Raptors and he tried to extort them to give him some, stuff. Hey, trade this guy and that guy, and can we get Paul George in Toronto? And the Raptors are like, so we got to trade Pascal and we got to trade Kyle. We don't want to do that. And then Uncle Dennis is like, okay, and I want to get this money, and I want to get this person paid and that person paid, and get this person hired and that person hired. Let's just be honest. There's a limit to tampering that I'm willing to stomach and accept. If you want to get your trainer hired onto the assistant staff, and you want to get, I don't know, your cousin a couple of, a bullshit cushy, job in the front office, I'm willing to listen to that. And you'd be crazy not to think that that's part of the negotiations. But when you negotiate this level of off-court, branding situation, this is not a brand deal. This is not New Balance, Puma. This is not, FUBU coming out of the woodwork. This is not that. This is a shell corporation that has been created with explicit bullshit. It's not a real company, Ox. It's what a shell corporation is. It's not a real company. It's a bullshit company that has been set up
playing trees, right?
Primarily to pay Kawhi Leonard above and beyond his salary, which is skirting and circumventing the cap. Every owner in the league should be pissed for the same reason, by the way, that they were pissed last year when Luka got traded to the Lakers and nobody else got to know about it. This is not how the league.
I think that's different. I think that's different. That whole thing with
two guys working together.
That's like one thing.
Mikhail like working with his Celtics.
This is different. Now, if this not so one thing is those are two different things. Let's not throw the Lakers in the Mavericks in here. Let's not drag them through the mud. If this is a problem, they should do something about it. That's my thing. Like, okay, if you did something that's wrong,
strip their championship.
Okay, if you did something that's wrong. If you did something, well, this isn't the NCAA. You can't just go back and strip shit like that. But you know what I'm saying?
They have
like,
no championships to strip.
But you know what? And I think that's the problem here. I think the problem is that he wasn't staying in Toronto.
Yes,
so
he
look,
was.
so
you don't
well,
know
he
that.
didn't.
Do you know him? Do you know him? This is the logic you use with me. Do you know Kawhi?
But he didn't. I know that. I know that he didn't.
He didn't because he didn't.
Chill, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Please don't say it doesn't matter.
Him
Please
on
don't
the
say
table
that.
on the Raptors.
Chill, he didn't stay. He didn't stay.
Hold up, y'all. Let's hear from Chill. Right quick, Ox. Let's hear from Chill. What you got to say about this, Chill?
The reason why he didn't stay was because one, he was able to go home, and two, they sweetened the deal. That money that he left on the table, we're gonna get that back to you. And I can tell you right now what it's not gonna be. Damn sure ain't gonna be that New Balance money. No, we're gonna get that $40 million that you left on the table. We're gonna get some of that back to you. And don't worry about how we do it. You're not gonna have to worry about how we do it. we're going to do it our way. And they did that. 100% they did that.
Allegedly.
Because then so how did this fake company come about, Ox?
Well, chill. This because hold on, because this is all allegations. Now, if it comes out to be true, fine. But this is allegations. This is three dudes on TV showing some paperwork. This is allegations. Now, if it comes out to be true, that's one thing. That's one whole thing. This is This is America. You're innocent until proven guilty. Okay. So this is allegations, right? I want to put that out.
This is very. This is sad.
No, hold on.
This is sad out of you. Every time we talk about Kawhi Leonard,
hold on, because
your brain just goes somewhere else.
If you don't even know what's going on, you too busy beefing with Jordan. Listen first, brother. What I'm saying is this.
I ain't got no beef.
These are allegations first and foremost. I just want to put that out. It's America. You got to go through due process. Secondly, what I also want to say is if they do get found guilty on something like this, they deserve whatever punishment is coming to them. I also want to say this is a Steve Ballmer issue. Kawhi Leonard couldn't have just did this. Steve Ballmer came with that. So what y'all talking about the Kawhi? Hold on, Penn, relax. Why y'all talking about the Kawhi Leonard scandal? This is a Steve Ballmer scandal.
That's not what happened.
What?
That's not what happened.
So you're telling me that Kawhi Leonard went and did all this fraudulent paperwork and did this whole deal. He strong-armed Steve Ballmer? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
You don't have to sell drugs to a drug dealer, bro.
There was some incentive, Ox. You know what the incentive was? $28 million.
I know.
That was the incentive.
I'm
getting involved in.
Yes, who's paying that $28 million? Chill.
I might not be the mastermind, right? I might not be the mastermind, but the incentive is the $28 million. So I'm going to get involved in this. And just so you know, that $28 million that Steve Ballmer paid, that $28 million, he wiped his ass with that $28 million. That $28 million.
Exactly.
That $28 million goes nowhere.
So you're capping for billionaires now, Chill? This is so not like
you know what I'm not doing? No, I'm not doing that.
But Kawhi Leonard didn't create the shell company. Kawhi Leonard didn't do all that. Kawhi Leonard accepted the money.
He damn sure took that bread, though.
Yes, like he should have.
In addition to him taking
Steve Ballmer's the crook here.
So hang on.
Allegedly.
Ox, if you go up to a person and you say, give me $50 million in order to, circumvent some sort of tax loop or whatever, give me $50 million tomorrow. And you know that person has to go and do some horrible ass shit. That's not your problem.
No, because wait.
That's what they did.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, Pin. If I tell you, look, that's not enough money to come play for y'all, and then you come back next week say, hey, Kawhi, I got 28 million for you.
Defending Kawhi harder than Kawhi defends players. Come on, man.
What is that? You're just mad at Kawhi for leaving. And so you are blinded by that.
No, come on, man. Don't do this.
So look.
Don't project your own emotional thought process onto me. I'm not you. I don't think like you. I don't emote.
That's what you're doing. You're clearly upset. It's like the Mikey Moore thing. It's the Mikey thing.
I'm happy he left. I'm cool. He went home. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm sure you are.
I'm sure you are.
I'm upset that he left. I am. I'm upset that he left.
Good with him leaving. My take was at the time, I'm happy for him. He delivered us a championship. Go home.
Yo. Y'all got to stop yelling over each other.
No, he's crying. I'm not trying to yell.
Hey, let's talk like gentlemen. Let's talk like gentlemen.
Oh my God.
I am not happy, bro. I am not happy that he left. And the reason why I'm not happy that he left, because I think that we got robbed of seeing how good that Toronto team was, them defending their NBA championship. Because I think that at minimum, if he's on that crew, they're back in the NBA championship the next year. At minimum, man, in the NBA championship. On top of that, the idea that all of that money was left on the table just because he wanted to go home, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that logic.
Right. I understand that. What I'm trying to say is that you know what you guys are doing right now? You know what you guys are doing? You guys are victim blaming. You guys.
He's not a victim.
You guys are victim shaming.
What the hell are you doing here?
Real talk. You guys are victim shaming Kawhi Leonard right now. That's what you guys are doing.
He's not a victim.
You guys victim shaming Kawhi Leonard.
So he was the victim getting $28 million.
You know what Steve Ballmer did? Steve Ballmer used his money.
By the way,
Steve Ballmer used his money and influence to take advantage of Kawhi Leonard.
A drop in the bucket of what he actually got.
Steve Ballmer did. He was a man with power, and he used his power, money, and influence to take advantage of Kawhi Leonard, who was in a dire situation because his career could have been.
Wait, what is happening right now, Ron? I'm losing my mind.
Steve Ballmer took advantage of an injured man. Steve Ballmer
and someone is going to clip this and say we're all crazy.
Steve Ballmer is the guilty one. Allegedly, not Kawhi Leonard. This is Steve Ballmer's situation. Kawhi Leonard is not on trial right now. Steve Ballmer is on trial right now. Kawhi did nothing wrong. He signed his contract and he got taken advantage of by a wealthy billionaire, white male wealthy billionaire. You hear that real talk? A wealthy white male took advantage with his influence, power, finances, and the fact that he could offer him a new way of life in California.
Does he kick puppies too? What else?
Probably.
Steve Ballmer kicking
Ballmer
puppies
is the problem here.
Damn.
Ron, so we're clear. So we're clear, Ron. Last I checked, when Kawhi Leonard took that contract in 2019, 2020 to go back to the Clippers, I think he's in year 8, which means that I am well versed in getting money. Not only am I well versed in getting money, I'm well versed in being around people who get money. So I'm enhanced in the business world. So there's nothing Steve Ballmer can trick me into doing. There's nothing Steve Ballmer can manipulate me into doing. Why? Because last I checked, when he was in San Antonio, when he was in San Antonio, when he had the knee injury, they tried to trick him into playing. You're not going to tell me how I feel. You're not going to tell me what's going on with my body.
He's a battered athlete.
So with that being said, when I moved from Toronto to Los Angeles, you're not going to trick me into moving to Los Angeles. No, what we're going to do is we're going to make a deal. And the deal is the money that you leave on the table in Toronto, we're going to get that back when you come to Los Angeles. That's the deal.
You keep saying that, but that's not accurate. Like this is what I'm trying to say. It's not about trying to get back money that you got in Toronto. You were trying to get more money from Toronto. Like that's what y'all not understanding.
Uncle Dennis was doing that. Uncle Dennis should be in this paperwork.
Correct.
Y'all blaming the wrong person.
Okay, cool. That's his uncle. Okay, and when his father passed away, when Mark Leonard passed away, shout out to Mark Leonard. You know, tragic the shooting. Okay, when he passed away, Kawhi went quiet, and ultimately is his uncle who has handled his interest. You know, he's handled his business, and he's been like an advisor, a father figure, etc. to him. And the Spurs were aware of this. The Raptors were aware of this. Getting good with Uncle Dennis, getting good with Kawhi. Okay, Phil Handy was in Toronto with Kawhi, right? We definitely bent over backwards to please Kawhi. Because that's what you do when you have a superstar. You cater to the superstar. I get it. Okay, they let him miss practices. They let him load manage. They told him they're going to revive his career, and in return, he agreed to the deal. I'm here for a year. I'll see how I feel after it. I'm gonna deliver y'all. And he played through the playoffs. You know the reason I'm okay with him leaving and I'm not emotional about him leaving is because he played through pain to get us a championship. Championships are not guaranteed. Championships are not granted. You could be a great team for 25 years and never win a championship. So the fact that Kawhi delivered a championship, I'm good. Even if he hadn't delivered a championship, if he even got us to the finals, I'll be like, I'm good, yo. We ain't never seen this, but we ain't never seen the finals in Toronto. So I'm not mad that he left. I'm mad that he wanted to stay. Then why
didn't he stay then? Why didn't he stay?
The Raptors refused.
Yeah, because he didn't want to, chill.
No, that's not it. The Raptors refused to do this. And I have on, like,
This is on good authority. I
promise you it is true. They went to the Raptors and they made demands. They made demands on the roster. They made demands on money. They made demands on, like how he would be used in the offense. They made demands on his usage, role, all this stuff. Obviously, that a lot of superstars do. Minutes, load management, all of this stuff. Okay, all of it. But also certain things that go beyond, like, I don't know, little shell corporations to get Kawhi a little bit more brand deals. the Raptors are very wealthy. Okay, the Raptors are very connected. They're owned by Rogers here, so Rogers will have connections into TV deals and all this stuff. But Rogers is a publicly traded company, and getting caught up in a scandal where like Steve Ballmer is an independent owner, Rogers is a conglomerate, is a different situation. When you deal with an individual owner, you end up in like Mark Cuban, Vivek Ranadive, Steve Ballmer, Matt Ishbia. These guys are independently wealthy. They are single person owners. They operate somewhat unilaterally. When you operate like with a publicly traded company like Rogers or anyone, Cablevision, whatever, these big companies, they have boards, they have stockholders. They have to think about this stuff, because if the board gets indicted or if they find out that Masai Ujiri's career is over, so they made a calculated decision. They're not going to break the rules of the CBA, be unfair to the other 29 teams, expose themselves to risk. Let's be honest, that's a big part of it. Expose themselves to the risk associated with agreeing to Uncle Dennis's demands, and thinking, the Raptors thinking, no other team is going to agree to do the shit that they are asking us to do.
Right, but Steve Ballmer
comes around and says, "You know what? I know you're crazy. I know you're asking me to break the law. I know you're asking me to fuck over the other 29 teams. I'll go there with you because I'm that desperate. I'm that loud, hollering, insecure man with billions of dollars, but I need to add a championship next to my name, and I don't give a fuck how I do it." He broke up a happy home.
And took advantage of Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi is not going to take advantage of.
He is a thug.
That's funny. That's funny.
Steve Ballmer is a thug.
No, he's a
criminal.
And
he took advantage of Kawhi Leonard.
The entire Clippers organization.
He threw around his power, weight, and influence. He's the one. Kawhi Leonard ain't do nothing but play basketball.
Karma's a bitch, though, right? No
Kawhi Leonard ain't do nothing but play basketball.
Finals. No championships, no finals.
Yeah, Kawhi got his.
Guess what, Ox? The young player you traded to appease Kawhi just won a championship. That's called karma.
Kawhi, he don't got as many.
And
he don't got as many championships.
You're probably gonna lose the first round picks that you actually do have for the next few years, because the NBA
he don't got as many championships as Kawhi.
What?
He don't got as many championships as Kawhi.
What does that
What's
matter?
the punishment for this, by the way?
Because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
It should be more than what happened.
It should be a suspension.
For who? Kawhi?
Steve Ballmer.
You're out of there.
Ballmer needs to pay a fine, a massive fine
for the Lakers. That's fine.
Ballmer needs to pay a massive fine.
Why are you?
I mean, you know what?
You trying?
Chill.
See, real talk.
You
I
ain't even
expect
got
more
to
from you,
suspend
brother.
Kawhi, because he ain't gonna be playing anything.
You know what?
By the way,
that's not real talk. I expect better from you. Real talk. I expect better from you.
Fellas, we got one mic. Relax.
Trying to do this to a black man.
We got one mic. Relax.
To a brother. Real talk. You better than that. This is a brother, a black man that was taking advantage of a wealthy billionaire white man, and y'all just gonna go ahead and throw Kawhi under the bus. This brother ain't doing nothing but trying to play basketball.
I understand that you're trying to be an entertainer, but we got a real serious issue here of precedence. And here's the thing: if you softball this, if you allow this to happen, if you allow them to get off with a little fine of $1 million or $2 million or even $5 million or $10 million or a 10-game suspension, that is not enough, because this can tilt the balance of NBA history going forward. If I can pay you under the table, if I can pay you 50, 60, 80, 90, $100 million under the table and get away with it by losing a first round pick, it's not enough. I will pay that $100 million.
You said 10 minutes ago. 10 minutes ago, you said I'm okay with some type of fraudulent stuff. You said that you were okay, so you can't now say you can't.
I said I'm okay with some kind of.
You did say that. You did say that. You said I'm okay with you.
That's not fraudulent, yo. Can you stop that?
That's what you said. Rewind the tape. You said
I said I'm okay with you asking for. It's fraudulent to ask for your trainer to get on a coaching staff. That's fraudulent. That's a favor, bro.
You said some tampering is okay. You said that.
That's
you said
tampering.
Some level of tampering. I can turn my head to.
And telling me what I said.
Did I say that?
I'm not saying tamper. Specifically, you got listening problems, bro. You got listening. Those headphones might not be working.
Got you.
Yeah, of course. I said very clearly that if you get your assistant coach or if you get your trainer onto the assistant coach, that's not fraud. That's not fraud. This is fraud. I said there is a level of favoritism and shit like that I'm willing to accept, because that happens all the time. Tim Duncan wanted his family to fly with him when he was going to Orlando. Remember that?
Oh my God.
We do remember that, right?
Yes,
That's a favor. That's not fraud.
You said you're okay with some level of tampering, but this was too much.
This is not tampering. This is a favor. I specifically said the behavior that I'm cool with. You getting someone a little cushy job at the front office for like $100,000, like a family member. I'm cool with that. You getting your trainer onto our assistant coaching staff. I'm cool with that. You making a little demand about, how we, I don't know, do practices. I'm cool with that. You want to load manage 10 games a year. I'm cool with that. This is all part of the beyond the books negotiation. That's not fraud though. It's just off the books negotiation. It's not fraud. What they've done here is fraud. That's different. There are definitions and differences to this, and unfortunately, I don't think you understand what you're talking about. And that's why you're emotional right now, because you don't understand what you're talking about.
Emotional about what?
Yeah, emotional ops.
Emotional about, oh my God, they've taken advantage of my dear Kawhi. What have they done to my boy?
I'm so serious about that, Pin. What I said was, I think that this is a Steve Ballmer issue. Y'all calling it a Kawhi Leonard scandal. It's a Steve Ballmer scandal.
Of course it is a Steve Ballmer issue.
Okay,
so Kawhi Leonard is involved in.
But Kawhi was involved.
That Kawhi Leonard is involved in.
And Uncle Dennis is very much involved.
You're emotional because you're mad that he left Toronto. What I'm saying is that y'all all
and
I
you're emotional
said,
because you don't understand the situation.
Relax. All I said was that this is a Steve Ballmer scandal. Y'all blaming the wrong person.
That Kawhi Leonard is involved.
Who's blaming Kawhi?
That he's
sitting here saying like Kawhi's a bad person? Nobody said that.
So
you're
saying what
Nobody
I'm saying.
said
What
that.
you yelling at me for?
Did I say that? Did I say Kawhi's a bad guy?
Wait,
I love
Pin,
Kawhi. I still love Kawhi.
You're
Kawhi's
saying
great.
what I'm saying. And what you so mad at me for?
I've never been disparaging towards Kawhi. No, I'm not saying what you're saying.
What are you yelling at me for,
blameless.
You're saying what I'm saying.
He's not blameless. You're saying he's like, oh my God, they've done this to him. No, he knows what they did. Uncle Dennis simply has to go up to Kawhi and say, listen, you are the hottest free agent in the NBA right now.
Bro. Calm down,
and we got this guy over in LA who's willing to break any rule in the world. This is what it is. The negotiation comes down to this. How far are you willing to take it? Okay.
So Kawhi's guilty. Kawhi's guilty of receiving stolen goods.
No.
Hey, look, chill. We'll plead guilty to that. We'll take that one. We'll take that charge. We'll take that charge. But fraud, tampering, no sir. But receiving stolen goods, fine. We'll take that.
Knowing that you are circumventing.
We'll sign that plea deal. We'll sign that plea. I'm good with that.
So why is it that players prior to the NIL deals were implicated for receiving money from boosters? Why is it that
that's a complete take that court somewhere else?
Wait, Judge Ox, I do have a question. Because now, is it that Kawhi Leonard only knew that he was getting some let's say some mysterious funds right from Steve Ballmer through this organization? Kickback. Mm-hmm. Or did he know that the organization or this charity or whatever it is was fraudulent to begin with, because now we can charge conspiracy because it takes two to tango.
No, sir.
Two or more is conspiracy. So
wait. We had no
Yeah.
idea where this money was coming from. There's at least 3 different people in between Steve Ballmer and my client.
This dude
you
really
got
think he's skating on this charge.
Ox,
You not skating on this charge. Ox, you not skating on this charge, Ox. You not. This is not OJ. This is not anybody else. You're not skating on this charge.
OJ innocent.
No, you're not.
Yo, chill. I do want to ask you a question. I have a super chat from DSG Piccolo, and I would like to hear what happened and what went on in the NBA during this time. A lot of the young people in the chat may not know who Joe Smith is, but DSG Piccolo said, so if the Wolves got picks taken for Joe Smith, then what should happen to the Clippers? Do they even have picks to take? Chill, can you give people the context on Joe Smith and what happened with that?
They ended up paying Joe Smith under the table. That was the deal. With them.
What year was this?
98. This was right around when the lockout was.
No, 88. Wait,
No,
you were right. 98. My bad. I'm so sorry.
It was
What am I
98.
saying?
So they ended up paying him some extra dough under the table, and the NBA got wind of it. With the NBA getting wind of it, they ended up taking. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, Penn. You can fact check this. I want to say like 3 or 4 ones that they ended up taking from them, which wrecked them, by the way. Which really put a bind on them because they don't have a first round pick for the next 4 years, which would also explain why KG wasn't able to be as good as he could possibly be in terms of a team because they didn't have any first round picks. So that's what ultimately happened.
He signed 3 consecutive 1-year deals for less than $1 million. So like,
they was trying to whoop the NBA.
Yes, they were, and then they got wind of it. And they're like, okay, we see what you guys are doing. We about to shut this down.
Yeah.
But Ox, to your point, real talk. Ox really thinks Leonard is skating on this. He got Leonard over here in a suit, like Leonard is the victim. Yo, you must be crazy if you think he ain't going to jail for this. Yes,
I'm not gonna lie. If this was like real life and not just via sports league,
I just took the 28 million. I ain't know where it was coming from.
Potentially looking at some...
I ain't know what happened. They manipulated me into taking this money. Give me a break, man. Hell no. I don't think so.
Well, I hope they put Kawhi where there's some nice tennis courts. I hope they don't put him where Tory Lanez went.